It is very important to be able to tell the difference between fact and fiction when comparing sources on historical figures and events and with fictionalized characters and events. It matters a lot. In order to write, research, or talk about history, you need to be able to tell the difference between what is true and what is fiction or made up. You can make sure information is factual by finding the same information in a reference source or nonfiction book. Other sources or facts are documentary sources such as letters and diaries. These sources are written by a person soon after a historical event. Fiction writers sometimes write stories about events that take place in the past, and then others make up details to add to the story. One of the sources I want to make sure that you know about is Gale. Gale is a source that you can find through AEA Online. I'm going to take you to that by clicking over here. I've already brought it up, and as you can see, there are different levels that you can use in with your resource portal. One of the things I'm going to use, because I feel it's probably just a little bit easier to get us started, is the Kids Info Bits. It's going to take me to a page and it will give me some choices. As you see, you can narrow your search pretty quickly. I'm going down to social studies because, hey, that's what class you're in with me. It'll give me another box, and as you can see, I can scroll down a little bit further, and I'm going to just tap U.S. history. Notice as you go across, it will stand out just a little bit. And as you can see, when this comes up, we're going to be talking about several different topics this year, but we've been studying about the Revolutionary War. Something that I found that was a little bit controversial was the Boston Massacre. So we're going to attack that, and we're going to go to Britannica Student Encyclopedia. And as we look at this, we see this is a very good source that we could rely on. It gives us the engraving. And as you remember, we talked about this engraving in class. This engraving was done by Paul Revere, who was a metal worker. And if I decide I want to use a different source, I can go back over here and I will look at a different document. And this was by the Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia. And as you can see, this gives me the source citation, gives me the imprint that I need for my report. We're not really writing a report today, but we're comparing different types of resources. And we're also looking for what is fact and what is fiction. If I read here, I see the Boston Massacre was in 1770. It was a pre-revolutionary incident, and it grew out of resentments against the British troops that were sent to Boston to maintain order and to enforce the Townshend Acts. We see the troops constantly were tormented by irresponsible gangs. When finally on March 5th, 1770, there were gunshots that were fired into a rioting crowd, killing 5 men. 3 died on the spot. 2 died of wounds later. The funeral of the victims was the occasion for even greater patriot demonstrations. The British captain Thomas Preston and his men were tried for murder, with Robert Treat Paine as the prosecutor, and as we read earlier, John Adams and Josiah Quincy were the attorneys for the defense. Preston and 6 of his men were acquitted or not found guilty. The charges were dropped. 2 others were found guilty of manslaughter, and they were punished and just discharged from the army. So that is a pretty good resource that I could rely on if I were going to use this in my document or my report. But as I said, what we're using it for is to just compare 2 different sources between fact and fiction. I have another one that is uploaded, and I have it for you online already. So after you've looked at this and done the screencast, you may also read the other one I have provided. Thank you. Talk to you in class.